Good night. A new approach to contracts. When Dell originally selected FedEx in 2005 to handle all aspects of its hardware return and repair process, the company drew up a traditional supply contract. The 100-page pledge document was filed with supply shell statements that detailed FedEx obligation and outlined dozens of metrics for how Dell will measure success. For nearly a decade, FedEx met all contract obligations, but neither party was happy in their relationship. Dell felt that FedEx was not proactive in driving continuous improvement and innovative solutions. FedEx was frustrated by unnecessary requirements that was resourced and forced it to operate within a restricted statement of work. Dell attempts to lower costs, including bidding of the work three times during the 8-year relationship, add into FedEx profits. By the 8-year departed, we are the breaking point. Each lack trust and confidence in the other, yet neither or could afford to the end of a relationship. The cost of switching to another company will be high, and FedEx will have trouble replacing the revenue and profits contract generate. It was loss scenario. Unfortunately, this story is not unique. Companies understand that their suppliers are critical partners in lowering costs, increasing quality, and driving innovation, and leaders routinely that talk about the need for strategic relationship with the shared goals and risks. But when contract negotiations begin, they fall to an adversary mindset and transactionality contract approach. They agonize over every conceivable scenario and then try to put everything in black and white. A variety of contractual clauses, such as termination for convenience, which grants one party total freedom to end the contract after a specific period, are used to try gain the upper hand. However, this tactic not only confer a false sense of security, because both finds switch costs are too high to actually invoke the clause, but also foster negative behavior that can undermine the relationship and the contract itself. We urge the remedy is to adopt a totally different kind of arrangement. A formal relation contract that specifies mutual goals and establishing governance structure to keep the parties, specification and steering aligned over the long term, designed for the outset to foster trust and collaboration. This legally enforceable contract and especially useful for highly complex relationships and which it's impossible to predict every what every what if every what if scenario. These include complicated outsourcing and purchase arrangement, strategic alliance, joint venture, franchise, public-private partnership, major construction projects, and collective bargaining agreements. A growing number of large organizations, such as Canadian government Dell, Intel, AstraZeneca, and Swedish telecommunication firm Telia, are successfully using this approach. In this article, we look at the theoretical underpinnings of formal relation contracts and the unlike of the five-step methodology for negotiating them. Collapse in complete contracts and shedding. Companies have traditionally used contracts as protection against the possibility that one party will abuse its power to extract benefits and expense of the other. For example, by unilaterally raising of or lowering price, change delivery dates, or requiring more onerous employment terms. Economists call this "haul-up problem," the fear that one party will be will be held up by the other. The fact that virtually all contracts contain gaps, omissions, and ambiguity despite companies' best effort to anticipate every scenario only exacerbates hold-up behavior. Leaders employ a range of tactics to try to ensure that they are not taken advantage of by a powerful partner. These include contracting with multiple suppliers, forcing suppliers to lock in price, using termination for convenience clause, or obligating suppliers to cover activity that might arise after the initial contract phase. Some companies go so far as to install a shadow organization to manage the supplier. Early research by one of Oliver who won the 20, 2016 Nobel Prize in Economics for the work on contracts predict that in response to a combined problem of hollows in complex contracts, companies are very likely to make distorted investment that produce poor outcome. Using multiple suppliers instead of only one, for example, increase costs, so thus operating shadow organization. Termination for convenience clauses create perverse incentives for suppliers that thought through no investment in buyer relationship. A 60-day termination for convenience translate to a 60-day contract. 1. CFO as supplier to loss. It will be against our fiduciary responsibility towards shareholders to investment and any program for a client with 60 days termination clause that require longer than 2 months to generate a return. The implications for the innovation are obvious. Buyers are crazy to pay just to invest in innovation if they do the math. In 2008, earlier together with economist theorist John Moore revisited in his work on contracts. They realized that an equally important problem is shedding. A regulatory behavior in one party stop cooperating, says to be proactive or makes counter moves. Shedding happens when a party is getting the outcome it expects from the deal and feels the other party is to blame or has no responsibility to mitigate or the loss. The aggrieved party often cuts back on performance in subtle ways, sometimes even unconsciously to compensate. Imagine that supplier of engineering service submit a proposal in a competitive bidding process and wins the contract. If demand is lower during the term of the contract, the buyer stated in RFP or the scope spent in anticipate area. The supply profit will take a hit if the buyers refuse to adjust to the software or the statement work, the supplier may try to recoup loss by, for example, replacing too expensive a team is currently has on the project which less costly. See team. In long-term complex deals, sharing can be so pervasive that the need for that behavior becomes a death spiral. Earlier and more expanded the theory focused on contrast and reference point and new perspective that emphasis to need for mechanics to continually align expectation or update reference points and anticipate events occur and need change over time. A new approach. At the same time that Oliver Moore will look in the constructive problem from an economist's perspective. University of Tennessee research, including two of Kate and David, we are working with the company to come with a new approach that will produce healthier and more sustainable partnership. Therefore, led to the best methodology for creating formal contracts, a process that establishes what is what is in in it for we partnership mentality. It's called because the parties have vested interest in each other's success, within contracts that are legally enforceable, which is why we call term formal. They include many components of a traditional contract but also contain relationship building elements such as shared vision, guiding principles, guiding principles, a robust governance structure to keep the parties' expectations and interests aligned. Relation contract that rely on parties. Making choice in their mutual self-interest are nothing new, of course. The benefit informal handshake deal have been studied and promoted over the decades. Legal scholar Stephen McLeod and Ian McNeil were early advocates in 1960. Japan is catered to an arrangement in which buyers form close association with and often own stake in suppliers in a time of relation contract. Perhaps unsurprisingly, most companies and their legal counsel in particular are uncomfortable with informal handshake deals, especially when the stakes are high. And in effect, many companies now believe they have the venture Kiretsu model, which Toyota and Nissan, among others, use so successfully. These are capital and limits flexibility. The formal relation contract address this, these deficiencies. When Dell and FedEx reach their breaking point, they choose to abandon their existing contract process and create formal relation contract that specify desired outcome and define relationship management process and the operationalization management and executive levels. In the first 2 years, Dell and FedEx were able to reduce the cost 42% scrapped by the 67%, and effective per million to record low levels. But companies now consider the concept approaching a best practice and have applied in the other relationship. Today, 57 have employed the best methodology. They even can have consulted of many days projects, including the several mentioned in this article. The results have not been tracked for all of them, but many have told us that their partners are happy with the approach in the seed benefits, including cost savings, improving profitability, higher levels of service, and better relationship, putting into the practice. Before jumping into the formal relation contract process, company must determine whether it is right for them. Some relationships, such as those involving the purchase of commodity, products, and service, are truly transactional and only need traditional contract. But many organizations require long-term, complex relationships for which the best methodology is well suited. A case in point is Vancouver, is Island Health Authority and South Island Hospitality, a partnership of administrators and doctors who work together to provide empathic care for patients with the most complex medical issues in British Columbia. The, the entity decided to explore relation contract in 2016. 2 years after the conventional contract has spread, a countless hours of continuous negotiation have failed to replace it. Working with the University of Tennessee, including Kate, They embark on five-step process. Step 1. Loyalty to foundation. The primary goal of step 1 is to establish a partnership mentality, but the parties must make a conscious effort to create an environment, excuse me, physical and concept, and if the previous contracting process lead to distrust and vicious cycle of shedding, they should reflect on how and why that happened. At Iceland Hill and South Island, the parties of the all contract and charter, a team of 12 administrators and 12 hospitalities to design a formal relation contract. Each individual worked with a counterpart from the other organization to establish connection in key areas. For example, specifically an hospitality from South Island and Kinkerong Island held a vice president of finance, legal and risks, led a small group focused on rethinking the conventional fee for valuable service or payment structure. We were no longer interested in just developing a concept. Recall Jan Maske, a hospitality of South Island who co-head the contracting team, but in building excellent relationships at multiple levels that would allow all of to be leaders in Canadian healthcare, whether the administrators of hospitality. Step 2. Co-create a shared vision and objectives. To keep expectations aligned in complex excuse me, and changing environment. But parties, not just the one with great power, need to explain their vision and goals for their relationship. The Island Health and South Island team held a 3 day of sea to craft their vision. Together we are the team that celebrates and advances excellence in care for our patients and observed through the shared responsibility, collaborative innovation, mutual understanding, and the courage to act in a safe and supportive environment. They further established and set of four desired outcomes that flow from the shared vision. Excellence in patient care. Develop a formal and robust quality structure in sustainable and resilient hospital service, stronger recruitment, mentorship, and retention process. Create an efficient and flexible hospitality scheduling model. Clearly define hospitality service and workload. Develop a stronger interdepartmental working in the relationship and train and develop current and the future hospitalities leader and a strong partnership continue to build a healthy relationship between Iceland, Health, and South Island. A best value hospitality service proactivity manage the budget, optimize billing, review workload, and increasing operation efficiency. In a subsequent workshop, the team developed deeper crafting for the high level desired outcome, 7 goals, and 22 tactical and measurable objectives. One objective, for example, call for improving efficient billing to the Provincial Medical Service, Plan NSP for cost recovery for the hospitality fees. The parties create a joint project collaboratively, working with billing support and IT technologies to develop an electronic billing program to maximum billing submission ultimately improving cost recovery from 87 to 100%. Step 3. Adopting billing principles. Value, value eroding, fricting, and shading occur because one or both parties feel unfairly treated. This risk is highest when there are many unknowns about what will occur after the contract is signed. In step 3, parties commit to six guiding principles that contractually prohibit opportunity for that moves. The six principles reciprocity and autonomy, honesty, loyalty, equality, and integrity for the basis for all contracts using the best methodology and provide a framework for resolving potential misalignments when unforeseen circumstances occur. Island Hill and South Island formally embed their interpretation of the principle in the preamble of their contract. Each was carved to establish a new norm for partnership. Under reciprocity, for example, they highlighted to need to conduct ourselves in the spirit of achieving mutual benefit and understand under equity they acknowledge to unavoidable imbalance that arise in contracts. We are committed to fairness, which does not always mean equality. We will make decisions based on balanced assessment of need, risks, and resource. Again, it's important to note that the guiding principles have teeth, although the contract language might be back. Court, courts are obligated to interpret each other with a dispute. Indeed, the Canadian Supreme Court recently to a case in which a franchise alleged that it was not being treated fairly by franchise owner, and therein lies the beauty of the formal relation contract. A few companies will want to raise expensive court for breaching the GIS principle. Thus, the contract becomes a deterrent against counterproductive behavior. Step 4. Align expectation and interest. Having a set foundation for a relationship in the first three steps, parties hammer out the terms of the deal. For example, responsibilities, pricing, and metrics. It is crucial that all terms conditions for the formal relationship contract are aligned with the guide principle. With the right mindset, the development of the contract become a joint problem-solving exercise rather than adversarial contest. Consider how the Island Health Administration of the South Island Hospitality tackled pricing, which had always been their sticking point. Historically, the two parties have operated under the show of opaqueness. For example, Island Health never shared the budget with the hospitality, and South Island the less than optimal reporting process made inevitable breaking our billable hours. King Caron of Highland Hill described how business methodology broke the impasse. We considered approach the economies of the relationship with full transparency and problem solving mentality instead of a negotiation mentality. She told us, we put everything on the table and we challenge the contract team to figure out way to work with the money we have got. The parties ultimately come up an alternative and standard free fee for visible hard method. They design a hybrid pricing model, a combination of fixed and variable rates coupled with incentives and improved efficiency. The models also gave the hospital autonomy and scheduling. After all, then the team really realized who better to optimize the scheduling for superior patient care than the doctor on the front lines? Under the new price model, when the patient population is low, the hospitality come up to take the time of say the island morning. When the population is high, they manage their hours in way that within the budget and optimize patient care. So the island have opportunity to earn safety if they provide efficient and meeting which they can invest in research and quality of the initiative they are passionate, passionate about. But the party felt the new model was one win solution that will have been unchangeable under previous contract. Step 5. Uh, Step 5. Stay aligned. In this state, contractors parties go beyond crafting the terms of the agreement and establishing government mechanisms that formally embed in the contract. The Island Hill and South Island create four joint government then shared to lie in the relation contract. The relationship team focus on monitoring the to health of the relationship. The excellency team focus on quality control, transformational initiatives, continuous improvement and prioritization and tracking of innovation ideas. The sustainability team focus on workload scheduling, recording, and retention. The biz value focus on financing, bidding, workload optimization, and operation efficiency. Each team meet at the regular intervals to review progress against the shared vision, goal, outcome, and measures. The contract also specifies a second governance mechanism to inbox communication approach in which an administration is attended with a hospitality for each of the four government teams. The approach encouraged through the honesty between the two sides, simultaneously and hospitality of South Island. Before, we had no one to speak with if concert arose. Now I have someone I know fairly well at high level in administration. If I need to make an urgent decision or have a difficulty issue that can wait for the next formal meeting, I can phone my two inbox partners next to me. Such pairing also highly encouraged. Outside the government, the teams strengthen the relationship and build trust between parties at the level. For example, King Caron and Jean Massey, informal partners, both say that formal relation contract was therefore transformational for their respective organizations. But point the survey conducted immediately before the process began and 1 year after the relation contract was placed. The number of people who expressed a positive attitude toward the relation increased in 84% in just 2 years. Administrator and hospitality who had called their relationship broken, dysfunctional, and distrustful, now described as collaboratively, trusting, and supportive. Caron points to financial benefits as well. For the first time, the administration and the Earth Doctor are innovating together to drive efficiency and optimize for patient care without the limit budget, they say. We not only can under budget, we also increasing our revenue by improving our MSP bidding process and in a publicly funded healthcare environment that is exactly what we need to be focusing on. The government's structure also helped the parties surmount the tricky problem of scope creep, while the control was being developed in 2016 and 2017. Canada passed a law legalizing medical assistance in dying. At the time, there were too many unknowns about how it will be implemented to address the issue formally. So sustainability team came out with a pilot project to address how fairly at the additional scope over a new role for healthcare providers to hospitality. Scale have pricing model gone. Where the battle how noise scope is said. There was spirit how can we accommodate with this new reality given our statement of intent? The future, contracting for a competitive advantage. Formal relation contract will never completely traditional transactional contract. No, nor shall they, but the process we have outlined shall be the part of the contracting. toolkit to govern highly complex relationships that demand collaboration and flexibility. Glenn Gallins, the attorney, represents South Island Hospitality and Law professor at the University of Victoria, offered the following advice when it comes to branching for relation contract. The focus on negotiation, the foundation of the relationship field is brilliant, but the real power is the treat all the way down core decision on how the party will work. In a business world where strategic, long-term relationships are critical to competitive advantage leaders have no choice but the overturn the status quo. Ok, este artículo lo escogí por la temática enfocada al tema de los negocios. Anteriormente las relaciones de negocios se establecían por un apretón de manos, por, por una negociación verbal, no había nada por escrito, si habían unos métodos, unas estrategias, un plan estratégico, este no era evaluado, no era controlado, simplemente se tenía una relación, y en el caso pues aquí en el del IFEDES, simplemente la relación llegó a punto de quiebre, donde la relación se volvió tóxica, por decirlo así, porque tanto para Fez era perjudicial dejar este cliente y para él ya era muy difícil conseguir un cliente pues que se acomodara a las necesidades de él en el momento. Luego nos hablan de, un, de, un, de una persona, John Moore, una persona que ganó pues el premio Nobel de Economía por establecer como del, los parámetros de los contratos, ¿sí? Los contratos legales, cuáles eran los puntos, los pasos a seguir, cuáles eran las consecuencias, cuáles eran las obligaciones, las responsabilidades que tenía cada una de las dos partes. Era que hubiera como un beneficio mutuo, una ganancia, donde, por ejemplo, en la franquicia, las asociaciones públicas, público-privadas, grandes proyectos de construcción y acuerdos de negociaciones colectivas, se dejara todo por escrito, el paso a paso, como por ejemplo en el caso del hospital de la Columbia Británica de Canadá, donde un grupo de médicos y doctores se reunieron para crear pues para crear una organización, una asociación de ellos mismos y establecieron un grupo de trabajo, establecieron unas políticas, establecieron unos parámetros que debían de seguirse, unos grupos de acuerdo a la metodología dictada por estos señores pues, el señor ganador del premio Nobel junto a la Universidad de Tennessee y junto a las personas que estaban completando pues el artículo, dieron estos pasos y pues, durante los años 2016 y 2017 tuvieron un gran progreso, un aumento del 84% en cuanto a la atención de los usuarios y un buen resultado y unas buenas críticas por parte de los pacientes. Muchas gracias, este ha sido mi pequeño análisis en cuanto a la lectura de este texto. Feliz noche.